I'm just going to start with a brief introduction of who I am and what I do, so that once we start talking about the much awaited topic, which is working from home for women, you would understand why this is something that is very close to me. I'm Maheen Noor Soomro, and I am an HR professional who's been working for over 9 years, almost 10 years. I started my career in around 2008, and I've been working in various positions in HR, from an HR officer position to the head of HR. And I've worked not just in Pakistan but in the UAE. I've worked in retail industry. I've worked in the IT industry for over 6 years. So a lot of people in the tech industry know me. I've worked in the oil and gas sector and media. 9+ years of experience that I hold, it it taught me a lot, and it kind of made the person who I am now. And it has sort of changed a lot in me. I was perhaps a lot impulsive when I was younger, but with time, maturity, and definitely the compassion and the willingness to do something more has sort of grown. I quit a 9 to 5 job, and I could not sort of foresee that earlier this year. And because I'm a workaholic, and even my husband was more than surprised that why would I do that. But it sort of hit me that I wanted some time at home, and I felt like it was not a 9 to 5 job. I was working from perhaps 9 to 12 sometimes. I would not be there at home, sometimes on the weekends. And it kind of got to a point where I realized that I was not handling my priorities well. And I decided that it was time to perhaps take a break and come back to working when I could utilize my time more properly. So what I did was I sort of started doing freelancing, and I started taking a lot of projects for people sitting at home. And it's very difficult, I understand, for people to understand that how can I do HR projects sitting at home, but I was doing a lot of HR projects sitting at home. I did a lot of trainings, like I'm doing right now. I conducted a lot of trainings for people like that. And then I started doing a lot of policy making. With time, I noticed that people were interested in my work, and they did not mind if I was not sitting 9 to 9 with them at their premises, and kind of empowered me in a way that I realized that I could help other people, other women who were just as talented, to do this for themselves. We came with this consulting firm only to help not just startups but women and small medium enterprises. And we're working as counselors, we're working as consultant agents, and we're helping people and women sort of empower themselves, sort of talk about what they can do more in their lives. I'll quickly skip to the part about why we are talking about working from home. Working from home is something that is possible. A lot of people will tell you that it's not possible, it's just a complete failure. And I think more so because people don't want a lot of people to realize that you could be something, you could actually be successful at something, even if you are sitting at home, even if you do not have an entire day to sort of work and slack away, sort of be on your toes all the time. Working at home is something that's very close to me, because it has helped empower not just me but a lot of other people I'm working with now. For instance, when I talk about why is it important to know that you have time for yourself, when I work, I actually enjoy it. So I do it for myself. So you should realize, is this something that you want to do for yourself? First of all, in your day, you should sit down and sort of work out the hours that you get up, and then the time that you go home and go back to sleep. In this time, you have to spend some time in the kitchen. You have to give some time to your husband. You have to give some time to your family. You could also perhaps be giving some time to your kids, their studies. But there has to be some time that you're taking out for yourself. If you don't take out time for yourself, you are probably going to hit a wall where you're going to be very overworked. You're going to be feeling a lot of frustration, and you will feel like you are not really adding value anywhere, and no one really cares about the person that you are, and you will lose yourself in this process. The best thing to do for yourself at this point in time, and this is what I did, I charted out my hours in a day, and I fixed a couple of hours where I was not working as an HR consultant, but I was actually painting, because that made me feel better about myself. So initially, when I started taking those 2 hours out, I realized that this is the 2 hours that I get, that I can do anything I want to. I don't have to give this to anyone in the family. I don't have to give this to any work at home. So these are the 2 hours where I can utilize myself and not just paint, but perhaps actually work on something I want to. Maybe I can start a business. So the first thing that you ladies have to do, and this can only happen if you're determined, if you really want to do something, is first find out the number of hours you're awake in a day. Find out half an hour, find out 15 minutes initially where you don't do anything. You don't talk to anyone, you don't have to be in the kitchen, you don't have to be anywhere, just with yourself. Those 15 minutes are the starting of your career, or starting of your own time, your me time. That me time is going to go on from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Sooner or later you'll make it 30 minutes. Then it's going to grow on to 45 minutes, because you're going to get used to taking out that time, and then slowly you will make that time out of that schedule, of that busy schedule that you have the entire day, where you know that you can invest in something that you want to do. Now, when you have finalized even a couple of hours, even 1 hour in a day where you don't have to do anything else for anyone except for yourself, now that is the time when you start thinking, what do you want to do? Do you want to sit at home and do a business, start a business of your own? Or you don't have the guts right now, and you don't think you can start a business on your own right now, and you're not ready for that kind of commitment. So perhaps you want to do small projects, and these small projects I'm going to give you a whole list of places where you can get these small projects from. But so you have to know that these couple of hours I'm going to take out, and I'm going to start doing something in these hours for myself. If you want to actually pursue a business, the first thing you have to do is, why do you want to do it? Is this something that you can do later on in your life? Is this something you want to do? It is inspiring you, it is making you a better person, is it making you feel more relaxed? Because it has to agree with your personality. If you do something that you don't like, and you are taking out time from your busy schedule, and you're still doing something that you don't like, it's going to frustrate you even more. So it's very important that you understand that these 2 hours, 1 hour that you're taking out, it has to help you in a way that you do well for yourself. So what you're going to do is, you're going to first decide what you love doing. Then, if you feel that you're not ready to do it on your own, you perhaps do small projects related to it. Now, these projects, I'm just going to give you a few links that you can go on to and find these projects for yourself. But another thing that you can do in these couple of hours is that you can go and get some diplomas and some certificates in making sure that whatever business you're going to go into, whether it's cooking, whether it's stitching, whether it's painting, whether it's gift wrapping, whether it's event management, whether it's anything, creative writing, you have to ensure that you are 100% motivated to do it. And then you can perhaps supplement this with knowledge, whether you go to Rangoonwala, whether you find various other avenues for doing these courses and these diplomas. I'm just giving you an example. Of course, there's Aptech Education. A lot of people go there for graphics, and I think it's brilliant because I've hired a lot of graphic designers from there, and you don't even need to be in an intermediate to get there, right? So you can find all these courses even from IVS. IVS offers a lot of electives. A lot of these universities, these business schools are offering a lot of electives that you can actually take up, and you can actually learn a lot from these institutions, and then eventually make your business plan based on this. But remember, it has to be something you enjoy, because even after all the struggle, if you've learned to take out those 2 hours for yourself, you do something that you hate, you're just going to frustrate yourself and you're never going to succeed. And it's just going to be something that's going to pull you down, because it will, sort of dampen your emotions, it will dampen your motivation. And there are a lot of people who are going to tell you that, oh, what are you doing, why are you wasting so much time, you already have so much to do, you have your house to take care of, you have your children to take care of, why are you taking this extra load on yourself? So this is not an extra load. This is something that actually you want to do. This is something that is enabling you, empowering you, becoming a better you. You're realizing your self-actualization needs at this point in time. So it's extremely, extremely important that this has to be something that you like, that you enjoy, and you believe in. So the first half of I think my why I've taken this topic and how can you start working from home, because people, there were people, I will just in fact open that question. There was someone who said that, how do I make time out? I'm managing two distinct identities, a homemaker and a professional, in a single space home. So I've told you now that you have to have motivation, you have to have dedication. And how can you charter out time? It will always start with 15 minutes, it will grow to 30 minutes, it will go to 1 hour, it will go to 2 hours. But you have to ensure that you find this time. And it will be perhaps a longer process. It might not happen in 1 month, it might not happen in 2 months, it will take sometimes 6 months, sometimes even years for someone to get there. Just think about the fact that if you were working somewhere, you would be inaccessible in those couple of hours to anyone. So when I work from home, I ensure that sometimes I'll perhaps get up early and make sure that all my house chores, whatever were supposed to be done, are dealt with before the time that I start working. Even if it's at 11 o'clock, even if it's at 12 o'clock, even if it's at 1 o'clock, I'll ensure that by the time I start working, none of my responsibilities at home are sort of standing in the way of the time that I've taken out for my work. And those 2 hours are completely professional. I'll sit in my room, I have a small laptop table from which I'm talking to you right now, and I would take this couple of hours out and work, focused work, even if I put like 40 minutes, but I know that 40 minutes of 2 hours are good enough to get my work done, because that's something that I will not compromise on. So you have to be very, very sure about the dedication that you have for this work. If you're determined, you will tell people that these 2 hours I'm inaccessible. Sometimes you have to say it. Sometimes people will not understand. So you will have to say these words that, I need 1 hour for myself, or I need 2 hours for myself. Okay, now there are a few people who said that, it's become very difficult for them to work from home. So a lot of times I suggest people that there are hot desks available. Hot desks are basically desks in an already established office that you can rent out for a day's, they sell it out for a day pass. You can go and spend a day or a couple of hours in those office premises. They give you a office desk, they give you you can take your laptop. and you can work 1 hour, 2 hours, focused work, and then you can come back home. So if you can do something sitting at home, perhaps you can take those 2 hours and go somewhere, like find a co-working space or a hot desk space, and sort of get registered there and work from there. Now I know that Pasha has some hot desks available, and there are some available in the area of Tariq Road. There are some available in the area of Khaybani Shehbaz also. So there are quite a few hot desks and co-working spaces available. Even right behind the Russian embassy, there's one. So if you just type co-working space in Karachi or hot desks in Karachi, you will get a lot of spaces to sort of go and talk to them, and they will give these spaces out for you for a couple of hours, for even a month. You could fix some number of hours to utilize it every month, and get it get an agreement on it. Secondly, what else can you do when you're talking about I'll just yeah. So we've talked about how do we charter time out of our busy schedules to eventually start doing work from home. Then finding that thing we love, or the dedication has to be there, the compassion has to be there, but the passion has to be there to love what you're doing from home. And then in case you feel like you're not ready to take it up as a business, you can do a few learning projects, a few learning diplomas from institutions to get there, and then start a business. Or you can do this as a freelancer on as a project for other people. So I'm just going to name a few freelancing sites that I found out for everyone, and I think you can write these down while I'm talking to you. I'm also going to try and tell you what kind of freelance projects are available there, so that you can sort of choose what you want to specialize in. Platforms to get freelance work: you can go to Upwork. Upwork is UPWORK, okay? Upwork offers a plethora of freelancing options, and I swear we love it. Like, people in the tech industry, people in the content management, content writing industry, they love it. Upwork. And I told you that they already have web mobile software development. They also have IT and networking projects. They have data science and analytics, engineering and architecture, design and creative. Now, design and creative, actually, you have chances of winning quite a few design and creative projects from Upwork. Yes, the competition is really high, but I've heard a lot of okay, so can anyone of you let me know if you guys can hear me now? I'll ask Serish. Okay, Miss Ba can hear me. I hope. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go back. I am going to run down on the different freelancing websites. So Upwork has a lot of things that you can sort of do: writing, translation, even legal, admin support, customer service, sales and marketing, accounting and consulting. So there's a lot of things that you can do at Upwork. Now there's another one that you can actually do, and that's called guru.com. okay, so that's GURU.com. okay, and guru.com has a lot of, again, tech projects. They have art and multimedia projects, they have writing and translation projects, they have admin, management, finance, even sales and marketing. So if you're good at numbers, you did your ACCA, but now you are a housewife and now you have a couple of hours to this is a good time to sort of do something from perhaps one of these freelancing websites, just to get a starter for yourself, an initiative that you take on yourself, right? And then, they even have stuff for engineering and architecture consultants. There's another really big freelancing website that's called as Fiverr. Now, Fiverr, and I'm going to share all of this with you guys again. And don't worry, I am going to. Now, this is my favorite website. I'll tell you why. Because they have all these amazing things to do. Like, I did a lot of stuff for them in the gift items. I got a lot of projects from Fiverr in the gift options, because at one point in time when I was sort of working at this tech company, and I had a little free time on myself, I actually really liked wrapping gifts. So, and people used to, family friends would ask me to, wrap gifts from them and do something, related to art and craft for them whenever they wanted to gift it to someone. So I started this Facebook page called Connection Celebrations, and I took a lot of projects from Fiverr.com. They have like a complete different division for art and crafts. It comes under this gift domain, and it has art and craft, unusual gifts, postcards and greeting cards and handmade jewelry. And I know there are a lot of you who do handmade jewelry really beautifully, so you can totally sell it on that, right? They also have stuff like fun and bizarre. They have stuff like business, in which they have branding services and presentations. Now, so many of us have gone to business schools or have learned to use the PowerPoint so well at a certain point in life, and you just have only 1 hour in a day to you. So perhaps you could pick up some projects where you only have to make a presentation for someone. There are business plans, there are business tips, even there are consultancy assignments there, so you can do a lot. They even have a music and audio option, so everyone who makes music, I know a lot of my friends who are doing some music degrees, and they often say that we don't know how we're going to earn anything, because it's become so competitive and you can't do anything if you don't have anyone to support you. Well, Fiverr offers those freelancing projects that you can always take up. They have stuff like advertising, business, lifestyle. So there's so much that you can do on Fiverr.com, and you should totally check that website out. There's people per hour. Now, this is more like design, content development, tech development, promotion, like SEO. If you're good at SEO, then this is a great thing to do. You can also go on to Nabesh. That's a brand identity. Nabesh is Nabbesh. Okay. And there's Toptal. That's a TOPTAL. I'm going to definitely share all of this with you guys, right, later. There's getagoda.com for people who want to take up tech projects. There's 99 Designs for people who do logo and website designing. So, it's just some of the freelancing groups that I've told you about, or websites that I've told you about. But when you go onto Google, the internet is your domain, and the internet has so much to offer, and a lot of freelancing websites are coming up, because the millennials, the problem with millennials is we want to do work, but we want to do work on our own terms. So this generation of people, everyone knows, wants to hopscotch a lot, they want to do different things at different times. So the whole thing about freelancing options is available. So I've given these options for women who want to work from home and want to start with something smaller, something like a project-based thing. I can tell some options for people who are sort of, there are some websites, and I'm going to look into it, but there are some websites for dental professionals. There are some websites for healthcare professionals. people who who've actually studied medicines, and they can work online and help people understand what's wrong with them and what kind of medication then they can take. And so basically you could do something like a consulting thing online, or you can start your own Facebook page, and you can mention that you're a doctor or you're a dental surgeon, and that you studied all of that and you practiced it of it, and now you've taken an off. But don't say that on your Facebook page, of course. But you can launch that Facebook page and start giving advices to people. You can start promoting that page, and make a customer base or client base just sitting at home on that page, where you're only giving advice to people. And you can actually start eventually sort of taking of course client charges. You can start charging people for that consultancy. So that's something that you can do. If you're someone who's done psychology, or you did some counseling programs, or if you're interested in doing some counseling programs, there are some really amazing counseling programs available, not just in Karachi but Islamabad and Lahore, if you're in Pakistan. I think I can share a few of those links. Or through CIPD offers some amazing psychology and counseling programs for women and for men, and you could do something like that for a couple of months, and then years, and then sort of do that as a stay-at-home profession. So there are a lot of questions I received that I wanted to answer in specific, were that I am a 9-to-5 banker, or I'm a 9-to-5 worker, but I have a child at home and I feel guilty about it, and I don't want to leave her, but I also want to sort of make sure that I'm utilizing the experience I have. See, you can still work as a consultant if you want to become a part-time worker. You can be a trainer. If you're a great customer handling person at the banking side, they hire a lot of trainers. A lot of retail chains like Liberty Books and Team Avengers and all these people, Debenhams and Mango and all of these people that have launched big chains now, they hire people. And who can train their retail consultants. So now what you could do is, if you are good at handling people, then what you could do is become a trainer for these people, right? And you can do like a couple of hours every day. You can go and train the sales consultants, people who represent the brand at the different retail shops, and you can help them coach and counsel and mentor them with your customer selling tactics, right? Now, another thing that you can do, and a lot of people do this all the time, is that you can enroll your kid in a good daycare, where you feel that she's been taken care of or he's been taken care of. And there are very good daycares coming up, especially for people in Islamabad. I don't know if you know that there's daycare center called that goes by the name of Rise Mom. Now these people are amazing. They're like a gift sent from God, and I hope they open up more daycare centers in different parts of the cities. But they actually have these apps available where you can watch your child when you're at work and see what he or she is doing at the daycare center. And they have professional teachers, which means primary school teachers. So basically your kids are actually learning while they're being taken care of at the daycare center. Now, I know for a fact that Kids & Co. and all these people are still there, and there are quite a few other, daycare centers that you could definitely look into. I am telling you that until unless you have decided that you want to still pursue a career, you cannot pursue a career. If you have made up your mind that you're going to pursue this career and you do want to utilize your knowledge, there are times when you're going to compromise a little bit on what else you can do. You can't be 100% everywhere, and you have to sort of come to terms to it. You are 100% the entire personality is 100%. Okay, so you can spend perhaps 30% at work, 30% with your child, 30% with your husband, and perhaps 10% for your family. Now this 30% that you do at work, this is where I'm going to go back to the fact that I told you guys that you should only do something that is making you happy, because this 30% is something, this 30% of the time is something you've taken out from your personal life to spend on your own self. Now you could either become a career oriented woman in this 30% that you're spending, or you could do something you enjoy, like I used to do painting or gift wrapping. So there is so much that you can do, but you have to make it up in your mind here. It's all actually about how you think. I can quote a few examples, and I'm very impressed by all these women who have children and they're still working. I see them starting work at 7 o'clock sometimes. They go to work at 7 o'clock and they get off by 5 o'clock. How do they? And they are actually at really top levels. This person I know, she's a very close friend of mine, and she is heading the HR at PNG, and she works at 7:30. She starts her day, and she goes to drops her kid at school. She picks him up, then she goes and drops him to the daycare and picks him up, and then go back home. So there's another friend of mine who just started her career again after a long break, and she has two beautiful kids, and it's not like she doesn't want to spend time with them, but she has learned how she's going to utilize her time. She's going to go drop them at school, go pick them up, and then going to spend time with them, and going to drop them to daycares and tuitions and still pick them up and still do her work. There are a lot of employers you can find who actually have daycares or children care facilities at work. NetSol is one, TCF is one. Aman Foundation does not offer something like this, but they let working females with children off in the middle to go pick up their kids from school. So that's another example. You have people like Unilever, you have people like Telenor, you have people like NetSol even, who are offering women who have taken a break from their careers and get back into the working life, who want to get back into the working lifestyles. They're offering these complete different management programs and job opportunities. Telenor ka, I think it's called Naya Aghaaz, and you can find it on their website. Unilever ka hai Career Point Choice, and NetSol ka bhi hai. It's called moms.career. Now if you go to their websites, you'll find it, and you will also find testimonials from these women who actually took career breaks and now working for these corporates again. So it all goes back to the one thing that I told you about. You need to prioritize. Your work-life balance has to be there. You need to prioritize. You need to evaluate the number of hours you have in a day. Then you need to realize what out of those total number of hours are you going to utilize for yourself. Is it 1 hour? Is it 2 hours? You grow from 15 and then you start making it 10, 20, 30, 40 an hour, then couple of hours, then 3 hours. So you start first coaching your mind as to when you're going to and how you're going to take out time for yourself. Once you have started coaching your mind and you've become used to taking out time for yourself, you will find out what do you want to do, what interests you. If you do not have the right skills to do it, you will do perhaps some short diplomas, online courses, free courses, and then you can start either a business at home, or you can start projects, freelance projects, which I mentioned. I mentioned a lot of freelancing websites to you, and all of this is possible if you just understand that it's all about determination and willingness, and that you want to do this. It can all happen. Okay, so there's I'm just going to answer a few more questions that I had. There was a person who which is not really related to this, but it was an interesting question, and I kind of believe in helping young starters. She says that if you're a fresh graduate, you mostly just have internship experience, where is all jobs ask for minimum 1 to 2 years. How can you get experience if nobody is willing to hire you without experience? Okay, now I keep telling people, do not sleep through your bachelor's and do not sleep through your master's programs. There are a lot of graduate trainee programs out there that happen in time, and you should sit for these programs. If you want to go and work for a good corporate, you have to work hard. You just can't sit at home and laze through your semesters and then find yourself employed by some top-notch corporate. That doesn't happen. And now everyone has graduate training exams, so you have to prepare for them. Secondly, there are many internships that eventually lead into permanent placements. So you have to deal with an internship like it was meant to be a job. I have seen people taking initiatives in small internship opportunities and growing big from them. In my 9 years, I've always hired my team after I've hired them as an intern. They only become permanent after they have worked for me for a couple of months as an intern. And when they show me growth, I give them the permanent position. Even when I don't have a budget, I've fought for those people and given them a position. And I can tell you, when I talk to other people also, no one lets go of a really good resource. When they see a good resource, when they know it's a good resource, they will never let you go if you performed over and above what you were told. So you have to deal with every opportunity that is given to you like your life depends on it. That's the way to go about it. So that's something that I told you. Okay, there's someone who mentioned that she's a pharmacist by qualification, and she's worked, mashallah, both in hospitals and industry setups, but she feels stuck, but she doesn't want to deprive her daughter of the attention she deserves. Okay, so she doesn't want to do writing, and I like I said before, you could do something like giving advice online, charging for it, work on advising page. You can look for a few and charge as a consultant for that. You can run your own Facebook page, build your client base, and charge through that. And then you can find a really good daycare and send your kid to that daycare for a couple of hours, or whatever hours that you are at work, because सुबह में तो वो स्कूल जाएगी, and after school अगर वो 1-2 घंटे daycare गुजार लेती है, she might as well just learn how to interact with other people. It will only enhance her social skills, and I don't think there's something wrong with it. You should not feel guilty about it. It is okay, because in the evening, in the night, on the weekends, you're going to be there for her. And when she sees her mother as a strong, independent woman, she's going to learn to become strong and independent just like you, which is very much needed. So stop feeling guilty. You're doing anything, you're doing whatever you can to help her. I know, as a woman, I can understand. No mother would want their children to suffer. I completely understand. And you won't let her suffer. Okay, there's another girl who mentioned that she has an honors degree in sociology, and she says that Faisalabad does not have a lot of scope for girls. Why don't you, or I don't know, maybe your family perhaps is not letting you, but you could perhaps definitely move into Islamabad or Lahore. A lot of females I know have done that, and there are really nice hostels available, and other living accommodations, and you could work there. But if you want to stay at home and do something, like I mentioned, start a Facebook page and start giving counseling services or consulting services or writing services, and utilize all these other freelancing options that I'm giving you. Go onto these websites. You might just find projects you want to work for. And ladies, very important, I am so happy that women in Pakistan are helping each other out. There's so many groups on Facebook that I come across. Wings to Women is a brilliant example of that. You can join all these platforms, and you can actually work from them. So many options are given to you. There's this Facebook group that also has ventured out into a website called the Shops. People sell, homemade things all the time there, and people buy it. So, you could become a vendor. You could become. I know so many of my friends who loved makeup have started importing makeup and selling it here. People who are really good at art have started selling art there. People who are good at cooking, they've started selling cooking there. So there's so much that you can do. Really. Okay, now there's another really good question that came, and I am just trying to find out where this is. No, I think I answered this one. Managing two distinct identities, a homemaker and a professional in a single space home. How to do it effectively without compromising one for the other. Like I said, determination, and then making sure that you take out those 2 times focused time periods for yourself. Make sure that everyone within your house acknowledges that you're working during those periods, and you do not get up from there and go. There's a very famous blogger that I know, and I'm a total fan girl for her. She's called Shazeen Rahman, and she runs this blog called Desi Wonder Woman, and I always take like a lot of inspiration from her. And she was one day telling people on Snapchat how she manages her work. She says that she gets up in the morning and she works like a normal job. She works from 9 o'clock till like 5 o'clock because that's the time her husband comes back home. And she says that in this time period, I only take one break, which is to have tea or lunch. Otherwise, she does not take a break at all. Now, this is a really long time. So, you could do only like 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever is suitable for you, whatever your work requires. But make sure that you are focusing, you are determined to do whatever you want to do. And everything else falls into place. Like I said, nothing happens ekdam se. So you have to gradually do this. Take out 15 minutes, take out 30 minutes, then slowly take out, 1 hour, then slowly take out 1.5 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes, and then grow from there. Once you have learned to make that time out for yourself, then decide what do you want to do in that time out for yourself. Maybe you don't want to work. Maybe you do not want to work. You just want to do art, or you want to do some silai or kadhai for yourself because that makes you happy. Or, anything. You could perhaps go to a salon every day if you have the means. You could perhaps join a gym, or I don't know. There are so many things that you can do. But since we're talking about what to do when you're sitting at home, when you want to work, I think these are options that you can do. I hope I've answered a lot of questions. I know that half of my live session went somewhere because of the internet, and I'm really sorry for that. But I hope I've answered all of your questions. If there's anything else, you could always get back to us